Once there was an old man, his name was Jacob, and he loved his son Joseph more than all of his other sons. Jacob gave him a coat of many colors, and Joseph really liked it, and his brothers were jealous, and so they got really mad, and they thought, why don't we get one? We're older. Father should have given us one. One night, Joseph had a dream. He woke up and told his brother the dream. He said the dream was about there were 12 stars and a sun and a moon. And all of them bowed down to me. And the next night he had another dream. It was about all the brothers had sheaves of hay, and his stood up and the other ones bowed down to him. The brothers didn't like that dream about that, and they told his father, and he said, do you want us to bow down to you and your father and your mother and everybody? When Joseph was a far way off from Dothan, his brothers saw him and said, let's kill him while we can because our father's not here. But Reuben spoke up saying, no, let us just throw him into that well. So they threw Joseph, they grabbed Joseph, tore off his clothes, threw him into the pool, and then they sat down to eat.
After the brothers threw Joseph in the well, they said, oh look, some Ishmaelite traders are coming.
They saw Ishmaelite traders going across the desert, and they said, let's sell Joseph to them. And so they stopped the Ishmaelite traders and said, do you want a slave? And they said, sure. And they brought Joseph out of the pit, and he said, maybe 5 shekels for this one. And he said, no, we want 20 shekels. And they said, okay, 20 shekels. When the brothers brought Joseph's coat with blood all over it to their father, they said, is this your son's coat? And Jacob said he rent his clothes and put ashes on his head and started weeping. And they said he must have been killed by a mountain lion.
The Ishmaelite traders sold Joseph as a slave in Egypt to Potiphar, the captain of the guard.
Well, Potiphar put Joseph in charge of his whole household, and everything Joseph touched, he would prosper. And Potiphar really liked him. But one day, Potiphar's wife tried to get Joseph to sin, and he said no. So she tore off his coat, and he got put into prison.
One night, the Pharaoh got very mad. He threw his butler and baker into jail, that they all worked there. But another night, when Joseph was tending in jail, the butler and baker screamed. They had a terrible dream, both in one night. Joseph came to their bed to see what was wrong. They said, we have a dream. They said, can you interpret it for us?
This is the butler. He came out with Pharaoh's silver cup and squeezed the grapes into the cup. And he went and he gave it to the Pharaoh. This is a baker's dream. He had 3 baskets ready for the Pharaoh, and 3 birds came and ate it all. And Joseph said to the butler, in 3 days you will be free and out of prison and be the Pharaoh's cupbearer again. But the baker, in 3 days you will be hanged and killed.
The butler did not remember Joseph, but one night Pharaoh had a dream, and no one could tell him what it meant. But the butler said, oh, I remember Joseph in prison. He told me my dream. I think we should get him.
They brought in Joseph to interpret Pharaoh's dreams, and he said, The 7 fat cows represent 7 years of plenty. The 7 lean cows represent 7 years of famine. And then the 7 ears of good corn represent 7 years of plenty. And the 7 withered ears represent 7 years of famine. There will be 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. You must appoint someone wise enough to rule and collect as much food that is needed.
Pharaoh made Joseph second in command over all Egypt, and Joseph began to collect grain, and so he would be ready for the 7 years of famine.
Joseph is governor of all of Egypt, and all the famine spread all over the world. And so this is his brothers coming to buy grain, and he has an interpreter, and he says, "Tell them they are spies." And he says, "You are spies!" And he says, "No, we are but 10 brothers, sons of Jacob, and we're really hungry, and we need food, for the famine has come over to our land." The master said, "No, you are spies, come to see the weakness of Egypt." No. We're 10 brothers, but there used to be 12, but one's at home, and one got killed by a mountain lion. And then he says, tell the guards to throw them in prison. Guards, throw these men in prison.
Joseph's brothers found money in their sack, but they think that Joseph is going to think that they stole it, but really Joseph put it back in their sacks because these are his brothers. And they're getting all worried because they think that the soldiers are going to come after them and kill them, because the soldiers might think that they stole the money after they bought the grain.
He invited them to a big feast, and they're eating, and he told his chief servant to go and put his silver cup in Benjamin's sack, and he gave Benjamin 5 times as much as his other brothers. So if he gave him some meat, he got 5 pieces of meat, and if he got chicken, he got 5 pieces of chicken.
Well, Joseph sent his brothers away, and then they were partly out of the city, and then he sent his soldiers, and they came and ran after them. And then he said, "Someone has stolen my master's cup." And they said, "Well, take us as servants, and whoever has the cup, kill them." And then they checked in everybody's sack, and then they got to Benjamin's, and they cut it open, and then they found the silver cup.
Then he told his brothers that he was really Joseph.
Joseph sent his brothers to go fetch his father and tell him that he was second in command of all Egypt. He was governor, and told him to bring him, and told them to bring their father to the best land, the land of Goshen.
Jacob took his whole family to Egypt, and Joseph came out with men, chariots, and lots of presents for his father. And when they met each other, they wept upon each other's necks and were so happy to see each other again.